Hey everybody, welcome back to Backlog Banter. I'm joined as usual by Tucker, and we are here because Nintendo just blew our fucking socks right off our feet. Spoiler alert, I wasn't wearing socks, but if I was, they'd be across the motherfucking room after the partner direct that just happened this morning. The final partner direct of 2020. And
Yes, October
good
2020.
gracious, did they end on a high note.
They did.
Now, Tucker,
And our discussion,
yes.
ever since we finished watching it, was just, holy crap, have they turned the narrative around on these partner showcases? Holy crap.
What I want to do actually is I want to put a card in the corner to our discussion about the
Oh,
first partner
no.
showcase, because A, it'll illustrate how far we've come, and B, it'll
Yes,
illustrate
that's
how far
true.
Nintendo has come.
Yeah.
Because that first fucking partner showcase was a
Shameless
disaster in a
promotion for a
half.
video that probably has 8 views.
It's got like 65. It's better than
Oh,
most of
oops,
it.
that's not what I meant to do. We're
But here's the thing,
retarded.
Tucker. I want to talk about the partner showcase, but I want to read a tweet by Andre Seegers to start.
Okay.
Because it's important background context. I'm not a big Andre Seegers fan, but when a man says a thing that a man says, and it's a good thing a man says, I say what that man says.
I like that quote.
You can put that on my tombstone. Andre Seegers, why would you schedule a direct at the same time as your Pikmin embargo that you've barely been marketing?
Yeah.
If I could level one complaint against this direct, it's that Pikmin has been shafted to
Yeah.
such an
Yeah.
extent, not only
Especially by Age of Calamity.
Age of Calamity fucked it over.
Yeah.
This direct fucked it over because reviews dropped literally 15 minutes before this partner showcase dropped.
Okay.
So Pikmin, F in the chat for Pikmin. I'll be buying
Mhm.
Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I've written at least 7 articles about Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I've made several videos. I've got more in the works. I will be covering Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I will die on the Pikmin 3 Deluxe hill. But that's besides the point, because Tucker, we just saw a partner showcase,
Yes,
and
this is
it
true.
was
That was special.
pretty fucking spicy. Now,
Yeah.
what do you want to do? Do you want to go sequentially? Do you want to go on a hype level? Do you want to talk generally? I want you to tell me where we're gonna go.
Well,
And
I
but
think we go
first,
sequentially.
I would like to tell you that I want to send my college's Wi-Fi to hell because I'm still fucking trying to download No More Heroes because the goddamn DNS name resolution failed.
It's very close to downloaded. Holy shit, it's very close. I don't know if you can see it.
I'm at 65%. Hey folks, let's restart our
Okay.
fucking Nintendo Switches.
No. All right, we're gonna talk about partner showcase actually.
Yes.
The first thing that this showed off was a pretty extended look at Bravely Default 2. A
Yes.
very interesting game, not because it particularly intrigues either of us a large amount, but because it has not been talked about since it was revealed at the Game Awards.
I believe it got mentioned in March, come to think of it, because that's
Okay.
when the direct happened. But the fact is, it's been a long time. This
Oh,
game,
that's true, because they made a demo as well, yeah.
this game has been like, it's been one of those things where people have been saying it's 2020, but it didn't look 2020. It clearly wasn't 2020, and it
Yeah.
has been delayed to February.
Yes.
I don't have much of an opinion on it.
No, I think for me too, it's not a game that I want to play. I don't think it actually looks that great. And I'm not super into that style of JRPG, but I think the narrative around it is the thing that most intrigues me, and the fact that they suddenly just gave it a blowout and announced a delay, because people have been talking about the last few days, especially like, is it coming? It says 2020 on the eShop. It's getting weird information updates. Like, I don't know, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what the narrative around this game is, because as someone who's not particularly into the series or genre, it doesn't look super special, but clearly Nintendo wants to market it. I mean, it was one of their games they show off the Game Awards, so who knows? I just don't know where this is gonna fall.
People really love those 3DS games. I haven't played them. Like I was saying in a reaction card in the corner, by the way.
Card in the corner.
I have been getting more into JRPGs this year with Final Fantasy VII Remake and Persona 5 Royal, so probably I'll play the demo for this. I dabbled in Octopath Traveler. I love the combat, but everything around the combat just didn't really click for me, so I don't know if I'll end up liking this game. But it's really interesting to see the way Nintendo has been working with Square Enix this gen.
Mm-hmm.
Because between this, Octopath, and Dragon Quest XI-S, Echoes of Elusive Age, Definitive Edition
for Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo and Square Enix they've been fucking on camera. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what this leads into, beyond Bravely. So it's interesting, but I think that's all I have to say.
Yeah. Next up, Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town. I have the direct pulled up right now. I'm just
Fantastic. Big cowboy.
There's a lot of big cows in that.
Yeah.
I'm just interested because I don't know a lot about the Harvest Moon series. I don't know a lot about Story of Seasons. I could have sworn one of these games just came out or something of that nature. I'm just not familiar with it. And it looks pretty similar to all the other ones. I mean, it looks quality. It looks like a game that people who are into that are going to really enjoy. As someone who's a fan of Stardew Valley, I've always wanted to try
Hmm.
one of the other ones, but I'm more interested in going back and trying one of the older Harvest Moon games that people really seem to love, than getting into one of the newer ones that don't have a lot of hype around them.
You might want to check out the one that just came out was a remake of Friends of Mineral Town, which is one of the more beloved older Harvest Moon games. And
Hmm.
apparently it's really good. Shout out Anna Karasik, who is my deputy editor at Nintendad. She's a really awesome writer. She also writes for Switch Player, and she loves these games. And I got a chance to check out her coverage for the last one. And I saw
Okay.
she was really hyped about this one on Twitter. So there seems like there's something here. But I just say he's a big cowboy. I'm gonna go back to playing Animal Crossing. So
Yeah. That's all. That's about all I have to say. If I end up covering any Harvest Moon stories, or anything, you'll hear about it either on a video or on Backlog Banter. So keep an eye on those show videos. I don't know. Next up, fucking Wasteland. Wait, not Wasteland. Surviving the Aftermath.
this partner showcase got off to a slow start for me personally.
Yeah.
Um, this was another one that, again, this like the whole base building, survival, wasteland, those types of games don't do it for me.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see. I can't really tell what the gameplay is because they mostly just showed cinematic things of these, admittedly, in my opinion, impressive graphics for the Switch. Just like all the little bits and bobs of the wasteland town, sort of working in harmony to build them, rebuild themselves. But they also showed like some Civ style, like over the top areas being
Hmm.
sequestered off. They showed some. It looked like some sort of base building, like Age of Empire style, and so I can't tell what this game is. Um, I'm not particularly interested in it. It's not connected to any IP, which is sort of what we were assuming, considering that it looked relatively generic. But I don't know. Hope it's good. Hope people enjoy it. But I just see this one getting overshadowed completely.
I'd like to give you a gold sticker for your use of the word sequestered.
Thank you.
I
Thank
don't
you.
think anything's gonna top that today.
You can certainly try, and I'll certainly try. But that's a good bar to set. Next up, Immortals Phoenix Rising. I didn't know this was coming to Switch. But that's just my ignorance of this game, especially. But yeah, no, it something is it out on Switch? I can't even remember.
It's
This thing was
December 3rd.
full of okay. Although the pre-order is up.
The
That's what it was.
pre-orders are live
This
today.
this showcase was so full of things that I even I forgot this was announced. But we talked about a little bit about this in our reaction. I think we're probably gonna try the demo of this game on Stadia. It's interesting, but it really does not seem like it's gonna blow up in the way Ubisoft probably wants.
Yeah, we were talking about this not only when we were recording the reaction, but also when we were watching the Ubisoft forward that we watched. And we're like, there's nothing here for us to record a discussion about.
Yeah,
Um, it just, for me, for my tastes, I'm not particularly interested in a game that is just looking to remix aspects of other games. So
sure.
what I mean is I would rather replay Breath of the Wild or get further in God of War than play something that tries to become an amalgamation of them. I think Ubisoft is
Sure.
really good at making these incredibly polished open world action experiences that
Yeah.
draw inspiration from other places of the industry, but that's just not really my style.
Yeah.
So like I said, though, I'm a fucking dirty hypocrite. And if they announce you can play as Pit or some other Nintendo crossover, like you could play
Yeah.
as Fox, there's actually a lot of Star Fox content in Starlink. Too bad that game is bad, in my opinion. But if there's some kind of crossover there, I'll probably play it. But otherwise, it looks polished and fun. Ubisoft makes good games, but I'm not gonna check it out, I don't think.
So we were talking about during the reaction is that you were kind of hoping for there to be a sort of Kid Icarus crossover
Yeah.
announcement during this, and I was sort of saying, oh, maybe they'll wait to another trailer. But really, I think my opinion on this falls that I think there will be Kid Icarus content in this. I think it's too prime for that. It's strangely prime for that. But I think that it'll end up being a DLC pack, the way that the Star Wolf thing was for Starlink. I think it'll be this is a Nintendo Switch exclusive small expansion where maybe a little side story with Palutena and Medusa and whatever. But like,
I
yeah,
would definitely like that. The only thing that makes me hesitant is it's important to remember that Fox was announced for the base game, and that happened at
that's true.
Ubisoft's E3 press
E3,
conference.
yeah.
And that was one of the most hyped I've gotten for anything. And then I bought Starlink, and I was like, this isn't Star Fox.
Fun fact: I
Fuck.
also own Starlink. I got it the complete package for $5 at a Best Buy.
I bought the digital edition ahead of release. I paid. a lot of money, and it was not
Yeah.
good.
Oh,
I
no,
gotta
baby.
support my fucking boy, you know? Not
No.
Ubisoft. Fuck Ubisoft. I'm talking about my boy Fox McCloud.
Okay. Well, moving on from Fox McCloud, there was a triple hitter of games that I don't care about in Bakugan, Battle for fucking Bakugan,
Champions of Destroy, you fucking fake fan.
Griftlands, a game that I don't like the art style of or the gameplay of. And then Tropico 6, which looked so bad. Looked
Tropico
so bad.
6 almost looked unacceptably bad.
No, it's just, like I don't know that much about the series. Clearly, there are a lot of them because there are six at least. But from a franchise that has been ongoing that long, being transported to the Switch, I don't know if there are other tropical games on the Switch, but that is strange. It is unacceptable. I mean, there has been a few of those where we watch in a mini direct or a direct or whatever, where like how did they do this? And it's usually, I mean, it was like that with City Skylines. It was like that with PGA Tour and one of the last partner showcases. But you know, you always got to have that one that just looks awful.
Would you believe me if I told you that Tropico 6 is actually the 13th Tropico game in the
I
series?
would not.
Your instincts are correct.
But I also, my instinct usually is to not believe you when you say things. But actually, moving on from a game that doesn't look good to one that does look good for a different reason, Hitman 3 is coming to Switch in a cloud edition.
Can we kind of lump this with the next one? Because my thoughts are
Yeah.
kind of the same.
Okay, well,
But
and obviously the next one. Control is coming to Switch and is actually already on Switch free. We don't know what that means quite yet, but I have it downloaded on my Switch. Both of them are cloud versions. I've never played a cloud version of a game that wasn't Stadia. But yeah, this is interesting. The new push sort of for Western releases being put through cloud service, cloud streaming.
What's interesting okay, there's a lot of things that are interesting about this. First of all, shout out to you getting Control, because people don't know this because we had such a good discussion that got fucked up somehow.
Yeah.
We talked about this game a lot. I made a cool thumbnail for it. You'll never see it ever. You'll just have to go to the
great
grave
thumbnail.
knowing. Yeah.
Oh.
But so that's cool. It's also interesting to see these cloud versions come to the West because but Resident Evil 7 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey both have cloud versions on Switch, but only in Japan.
Yep.
I don't like this.
No.
And I'm not against cloud gaming. I think cloud gaming really is the future, and I think that when someone finally nails it, I think it's going to be a big deal. My problem is that it's antithetical to what the Switch is.
Sure.
Because the appeal of the Switch is that I can take my console games on the go. And inherently, this means that I can't. I find myself often playing my Switch in situations where I don't have Wi-Fi. It's one of my main consoles, so it's often hooked up to my TV, connected to Wi-Fi, but that's not the appeal of the Switch for a lot of people and in a lot of ways. So I at this point, I'm just going to buy these games on my PS4.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, especially with these two, I think people either already own it or will already have pre-ordered it, or like, I don't know. It just definitely seems like these games are ones that have already found a home on those more powerful consoles.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of coming from a different place. Is obviously it is antithetical to the desire of why you would own a Nintendo Switch, but I do think that it is good for the Switch to have these games. For people who have access to them. It certainly bolsters the fact that the Switch can play these games, even if it's through another way. But I think that having these games on there is good in this way because they're going to run well. Hopefully, if you have good connection, and I haven't even tried it, but I think that I heard that Odyssey and Resident Evil 7 ran pretty well through the cloud service.
Yeah.
But the fact that if they put these on a cartridge or put them on digitally on the Switch hardware, they would not run well.
Right.
And just the fact that the Switch has access to these in a way that will run decently, I think that's fine. And I think that I mean, there's not really a negative to it, in my opinion. I mean, it's not going to be something that you really get into because it's not how you play your Switch, but there certainly are people who are going to try it. I think having this say like, hey, the Switch has access to these AAA games. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think, pardon my language, but it is a sticky wicket for Nintendo. Because these games wouldn't run otherwise. It's funny we talked about performance because it's possible that that Control over cloud streaming will run better than it does on my base PS4, which wanted to kill itself whenever I try to play Control on it.
We'll find out. I already have it downloaded.
We'll find out. And it also is important to remember there's a time in my life when I only had Nintendo systems, and I would have been so happy to get these games at any capacity. And there are a lot of people who play Nintendo primarily and just don't get to play these games. So from that perspective, more options is always good. I just wish that Nintendo had thought of this prior and there had been a little bit more power or something done to have a more equitable solution. But this is better than nothing. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, that control announcement, that genuinely was, because we neither of us expected that. I think we should travel onto that in a second, but that was the most excited I've been for an announcement when we've been recording, like ever. I mean, I know
Yeah.
I was hyped for Steve. I know I was hyped for Ori on Switch. I was hyped for God of War 2, but Control is a game that I personally have so much passion for, a lot more than most people that I know, and just seeing it in a format that I was not expecting, just randomly having it showing up. That was a special moment for me.
Yes. Go watch the reaction, if only to watch Tucker get excited for Control.
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome.
Yeah. But my vibe check traveled so nicely through the internet, across the wires of the country, right into your arm. These goosebumps traveled from me to you, and you got your announcement. No More Heroes 1 and 2 coming to Switch now. They're out. We both have No More Heroes. Well, I have No More Heroes downloaded. I don't know what your status is on that.
I'm in the process of trying to download it. Let me fucking spin
Okay,
you
he's
a
up
yarn
on his
for a
chair. He's
moment.
holding his microphone. This is a different kind of
Let
discussion.
me spin you a fucking yarn for a moment, Tucker Hazel.
Oh, God.
Okay.
I shouldn't get up on my chair. I'm not wearing pants.
No More Heroes is a video game series.
I agree.
When I was a young baby boy and I had a Nintendo Wii system, I also had a subscription to Nintendo Power.
Mhm.
And I used to fucking look at these goddamn No More Heroes previews and think to myself, my parents won't let me play this game. I'm an 8-year-old boy. So I didn't play No More Heroes for a long time. Enter a man named Virtua Eric,
Oh,
who
we're
traded
familiar with him.
a copy of No More Heroes and Banjo-Tooie for my copy of Nintendo Switch's classic ARMS.
Oh,
I
you hit the
finally
raw dog of that deal.
No,
Go
I
ahead,
didn't,
buddy.
because I finally had Suda 51 Grasshopper's magnum opus, No More Heroes, my collection. But I didn't play it right away, because instead I reviewed Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes for Nintendo Switch. To
I
this
remember that.
day, Abram Ernest Buhner has the highest Metacritic recorded score for Travis Strikes Again on the internet. I gave that game a 9.5.
Holy balls.
That game fucking rules and everyone else is dumb. That game is awesome. Go to Metacritic. Check out my review.
I'm doing that right now, actually.
Go to Metacritic. Abram Buhner Gaming Trend. Highest review on the platform. One Stealth 40K. Got in an argument with people on Twitter. Said, Travis Strikes Again is getting 9s out of 10s. People are saying, no, they don't. No, it's not. And I said, hey, motherfuckers.
Okay,
Hey,
look
Stealth
at this.
40K. I gave the game a 9. So here's
Okay, currently the critic, well, you count as a critic at that point, right?
yes,
Score critic. Okay, so 67 average,
right,
7.9 for the user score.
right,
You are the highest one at 90.
correct.
Yes.
For the posterity, put that in the record.
Yes,
But here's
record
the
holds.
point is, I fuck
Someone
with
else
No More
gave it a
Heroes.
fucking 40
Right.
from gameblog.fr.
Not recorded, but one Kieran Fifield gave the game a 2 out of 5.
Ooh,
That
that's
was my
not
friend.
good.
Kieran, shout out to Kieran Fifield, shout out to the Nintendad team. Far better than we'll ever hope to be. I mean, I was actually the editor-in-chief there for a long time, so I count. You were actually the point is shout out to Nintendo. The point is I'm very excited for No More Heroes. So then, Tucker, let's fast forward to the year of our Lord 2020.
All right, we're here.
And I gotta sit down. My feet are cramping. I was
Yeah.
playing No More Heroes on Wii, but the
Hold the thing
controls
properly.
the controls were not.
I have to
vibing
teach
with
him
me.
how to do a recording. Everyone.
I'm sweating. The controls were not vibing with me, right? So I put
Mhm.
the game down. But now, Tucker Hazel,
Yes.
No More Heroes 1. My college Wi-Fi DNS disconnected. We will get it
Yeah, it's not
downloaded. Don't
working.
worry.
Yeah.
I will be playing No More Heroes 1. I will be talking to one Tucker Hazel about No More Heroes in a review capacity next week. I will be
Yes.
playing No More Heroes 2 Desperate Struggle. I will be playing No More Heroes 3. I will not stop talking about No More Heroes, and anyone who wants me to can go fuck themselves.
Okay.
Because I am excited. I don't get this excited often. I'm
That's
usually
true.
I'm usually a cynical douchebag. So let me
Yeah,
have
I agree.
these 5 minutes of your time. Please and thank you. No More Heroes 3 looks phenomenal. Love the art style. Love the style. Can't believe I have the first two games. Priced appropriately. I'm running out of breath. I haven't had any water or food, brushed my teeth, or used the bathroom since I woke up. What's the
Well,
next
I'd
thing
like
we
to
need to talk
say
about?
one thing is that I was actually incorrect. It did not transfer so fluidly vibe check from Control to No More Heroes 1 and 2 because it actually was No More Heroes 3 first, and then they transferred into No More Heroes 1 and 2 being re-released. I don't have a lot to say about No More Heroes 3. I've liked some of the trailers that I've seen. I liked the paint art style. I like the character designs a lot. I'm a little bit disappointed with the contradiction between the cartoony characters and the realistic backgrounds. I don't think that the character models look super high resolution. I don't know. It's a game that I need to definitely see in action. I need to see what the opinions are on it when the game actually releases. But I'm certainly going to try it. I have the first one purchased. We're going to be reviewing it next week. I will likely play the second one and review that with you as well. And then we'll eventually get to the third one when it releases. But yeah, no, there was a trailer for that. Pretty good trailer.
God fucking damn it. I don't have any energy to be excited about anything for the rest of my life.
Is that, you don't want to talk about that?
No, I'm just really excited. I think No
No.
More Heroes 3 looks great. I think the art style looks great. I think it looks like a wonderful extension of what the franchise is. And Suda 51, bring Killer 7 to Switch, and I'll give you a big old kiss on the digital lips.
Okay, well, we can transfer that kiss to Part-Time UFO developed by Hell Laboratories. Originally only available on the App Store for Android and iOS,
Yes.
which I have played it in middling capacity. I think it's an okay game, but I don't love it. But now it's on Switch. It is more expensive on Switch, but hopefully that gets a new audience.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited for this game. I remember when it launched, but I'm just not a mobile player. It's just not how I engage with my games. So I had always hoped this game was coming to Switch, and I kind of forgot about it because it came out a long time ago. It's
Yeah,
kind
it
of
did.
weird that it's coming over to Switch now,
Yeah,
but I
but
really
it
love.
is.
Yeah, it's coming over. I love the game's aesthetic. I love this
Yeah.
simple gameplay. It's got like a rhythm heaven energy with
Mhm.
HAL Laboratories, ability for design. So I'm very excited to check this out. I will be buying this when my college's Wi-Fi decides it wants to function in a capacity commensurate to the price I pay to be at this institution. That's what I have to say on the matter.
Okay. Well, we can also transfer to the Age of Calamity demo, which is the last thing that they talked about in this. Age of Calamity got a demo, the new trailer, which showed that you can play as the Divine Beast, which we both thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to give the demo a try. The progress carries over to the full game, both of which both of us will be buying and reviewing eventually when it comes
You
out.
will?
No way you thought we weren't going to review that goddamn
Of
game.
course we're fucking reviewing that game, bro.
But we're also going to probably be doing impressions on the demo because you can play all of Chapter 1, which I think is pretty cool.
Yes. We were saying this, Nintendo's marketing has been absolutely bonkers for this game.
Yeah.
I was in from the first second, but I'm very happy that there's a demo because I think what a demo is going to do is it's going to set people's expectations accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was talking with some people on Twitter about this. Shout out to Lori Eggleston from the Cross Players. Very cool guy over in the UK. We were chatting about this. There does seem to be a general sentiment online that people are misunderstanding what this game is actually going to be. So I think by having this demo, people are going to get what the gameplay is and be so excited for the story and be able to contextualize that with the experience they're actually going to get. So I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, I've been very excited for this, and I presume that mentally I fall into that camp of people who don't understand what's going on from your perspective. But I know what Hyrule Warriors is. I know what a Muso game is. I'm just very excited for this game and how it impacts the Breath of the Wild series, if you will.
Yeah, and I wasn't subtweeting you, by the way, because I like to shut people out that deserve my ire clearly and fully. But no, there's just a lot of people that talk about this game. I just think it's going to become a lot clearer once this demo's out and people have tried it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's animated so well. It just looks really fun. The game just
Yeah.
looks really fun. The one thing it's missing for me is like the fun bonus content that the original had. So I'm curious if that's going to be in this game.
Sure.
I don't think we're going to learn that from the demo, but I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that the bonus content might be there in a more limited capacity, but I think that the clear focus of this game is much more story heavy and lore based, and that's probably where a lot of their effort went, instead of fan servicey stuff that the original Hyrule Warriors was so good at.
Yeah, I think that's
But
totally fine. A
these are
different
kind of
appeal.
be two sides of the same coin. You get one game that's super fan servicey and over the top, and you get one that's a little more toned down and grounded in the reality of the Breath of the Wild universe.
The
I
one
think it'd
thing
be cool.
I've got a question for you. Do you know if
Yes.
Nintendo
Hi.
said that this is in canon,
Well,
or
yeah.
because
Well, it
some
has to be.
people are saying, what if the game ends in a different way?
Then the champion's dying?
Yeah.
No, well,
I don't think it's
I
gonna
don't know.
happen. I don't
No,
think it's gonna happen at all. But I
no.
just think that there's an outside chance that this gets fucked up. That
Yeah.
everything looks great, and at the 11th hour, this game gets fucked up.
Oh God.
I don't want to sow the seeds of turmoil in the minds of anybody. However,
You have a little bit,
if I
unfortunately.
did, I mean, Pikmin 3 Deluxe comes out on Friday. Maybe you should just fucking buy the game instead. You know.
Okay, well, that actually is the last thing that they showed off. There's a little bit of a scissor reel after that, but we decided that we needed to stop recording. I gave the audience a fuck you, and we went to go record this. But thank you for joining me for this discussion. This was the best, uh, the best partner showcase.
Yeah, can we prolong the ending just a little bit so we
Okay,
just talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
the brand on the whole?
Oh, sure, yeah, yeah, yeah. Partner direct, mini partner directs.
Yeah, because I think there's more to say than just the games that were announced. Because I think this is just it's just an interesting moment to watch the slow and gradual progression of this branding
Hmm.
and to be where it is now.
Yeah,
I think that the last one was probably more impactful,
sure.
especially with Monster Hunter Rise and then Ori.
Yeah,
Um, this one though was
and Monster
still
Hunter Stories too.
right. But this one was still really impactful, and I think this brand has found its footing.
Yeah,
Um, I wish we were getting more this year. I went from thinking that this branding was going to be the death of the Nintendo Switch branding in any meaningful capacity.
direct.
Yes,
Nintendo
yeah,
Direct, not Nintendo Switch.
yes. Sorry, Nintendo Switch is doing all right. Believe it or not,
Nintendo Switch has games.
it has games, but I was concerned about what the branding meant. It felt like Nintendo was just scraping things together to try to have a showcase.
Yeah.
But these have ended in a place that feels really meaningful.
Yeah, I mean, there's some big announcements here, and the interesting part of them sort of taking these presentations, coring them into like the middle of a month, and putting them. Well, I guess it's the end of the month now, but
Mhm.
and putting them out alongside a lot of the games that are shown off, I think is very interesting. It kind of gimps the idea of these games being put into the Switch marketing for like a extended campaign, because when the Switch came out, there was always those third-party games that they really put up alongside their first-party games. Like, hey, look,
Yeah.
we do have third-party games, but they've reached a point where they can have a partner showcase where they just release most of the games that were announced. I mean, I think that's pretty interesting. I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but it's where at the point where we're at.
I think these are really important for Nintendo, and I think they do a nice job paying forward what third parties have done for them. I think the more that this happens, the more third party games we'll get, and the closer we'll get to parity with other consoles.
Hmm.
Um, I think these are really important, and I personally feel with the way that things have shaken out, this is very controversial for me to say,
Okay.
but I wouldn't mind if this became the new normal for directs, and
Okay.
first party software the new normal became
Shadow
individualized
drops.
showcases.
Okay.
Not
Well,
shadow drops.
or not
I
shadow. Well, they don't do any lead up to any of the ones that they've been putting out.
Right, that's my biggest problem. But
Yeah.
if Nintendo is like, hey, we have a new first party game we're going to talk about here, and we're going to dive into it.
Hmm.
And then we're going to have these showcases to pay attention to what else is in our ecosystem. I think that's smart.
Yeah.
I think that Nintendo just has been really bad at communicating information and strategy this year.
Yeah.
And in July, things looked fucking bad, dude.
Yeah. They did when we
Um,
started this channel.
yeah.
Yeah.
But now I think if they hit these first party announcements in one vector and they hit third party announcements in another vector, that's good. Because if Age of Calamity had been in this presentation, that's all people would have talked about. You know?
That's true.
It's an
Yeah.
if the announcement had been, here's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I'm
I
interested
mean,
about the future.
yeah, that actually is a pretty good point. I was listening to what you're saying. My first gut reaction was, no, you're an idiot. Like, that would be terrible. But as you went on, I realized that I've been fine with what's been happening. And if it continues, I'll just grow accustomed to it and it won't be an issue anymore. And I think hopefully that's how people will also trend towards. But people are very passionate about the Nintendo Direct format. I think that people have been a lot happier now that Nintendo's actually been fucking communicating with us in any capacity, and we've been getting the games, we're getting the announcements, though it's not in the format that they were necessarily expecting. But we'll see. I don't think this is the end of actual directs that have a combination of first party and third party announcements. I think that they do need to come back next year with something that is a little more substantial, and whether that is more of a one-off thing until E3, which I do expect will be a more regularized direct. But I think that they do need to have something like that to show off their first party games that are coming out, because while we've gotten announcements, they have more been one-off smaller things and filling out the calendar in a smaller scale, because we don't know what's coming out next year. And I think that they do need to do something a little more substantial in that way, so they can have a marketing schedule for the year. Because that's the thing about this year, is it's the games have come out, but their marketing has been very strange. Been a lot of bam, bam, announce, release, and they've been focusing very hard on each game. And I don't know if that's necessarily worked out more for them than their previous strategy, but I don't know. I'm not a business executive in Japan.
Me neither.
No.
It is curious to think about, like, Age of Calamity is the first new Nintendo release since July.
Yeah.
And it's weird the way that they have filled the months since then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a discussion to have for another time, because I've got more to say about directs and everything, but I don't want to fucking drag this out too much.
All right.
So it's been hype. We've gotten
been
hype.
good.
We've gotten hype.
Yeah, this is a good discussion.
Yeah, it was.
Glad you texted me this morning. Like, there might be a thing, and then I'm like, this is 1 minute before 9 a.m. this morning, my time. At fucking 10 a.m. your time. I sent, if something happens in 0 minutes, will you be ready? About 3 seconds later, I get direct. Get on Zoom. Go, go, go. And I'm like, oh, all right. I hop out of bed. I pissed my toilet. I set up my microphone, and here we are.
Here we are.
Summary of my morning.
All right. Well, everybody, all I have to say, you need to do 3 things to get my undying love and appreciation. Actually, there's 4. In this order: buy No More Heroes.
Done.
Pre-order Pikmin 3 Deluxe.
Shit.
Like this video. Subscribe to the channel.
Okay, well, I'm at 75% of that.
That's good enough.
I won't ever quite reach your undying love and respect, but I might own Pikmin 3 Deluxe at some point in the cosmos, the span of the universe. So I'll get there at some point.
That sounds like a plan. Well, everybody, it's been real.
It's been real. See you guys in another video. I almost hit stop recording, but that's not, I'm not the guy that do the thing.
I haven't hit start recording yet.